all in all, 1 week ownership. I love this car. All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Fit IT Guy. Today we're going to talk about my 1 week review of the new 2026 Tesla Model Y Juniper. It's a complete upgrade over the previous generation Model Y. Not even close. It feels like a whole different car completely. The only thing that feels the same is the screen, the general shape of the car. Other than that, it's such a luxurious ride. So much softer, so much smoother, so much quieter. There's really no wind noise. I had to go about 92 miles an hour to hear the wind noise that I would hear at about 70 miles an hour on the previous Model Y. So a huge reduction in wind noise. At about 70, 75, even 80 miles per hour on the highway, there was no audible wind noise compared to before. Really love the look of the car. Again, like I mentioned in my last video, it is so much more sporty and aggressive looking, even just walking towards it before, when you're walking towards it, when you're walking away from it, from the front, the back, the sides. It's just such a more sporty and aggressive look, and I really love that because I had to do so many modifications to the previous car to get it to look the way I wanted. It was so round and bubbly, and it kind of just had that soccer mom look to it, and of course there are a ton of soccer moms driving them, so you had to, you know, kind of do a lot of things to make it stand out. This one, right away, it stands out. You know, not too many people have it either, and the ones that do have it typically have the stealth gray color. You see a few white ones out there. I saw a blue one last night. I really haven't seen any red ones in person, so it's nice to have the red color. They ran the promotion for 4th of July for red, and now for red, white, and blue, and now they're running the new promotion for 1 free upgrade from inventory, so you can go ahead and get whatever color you like. Yeah, so there's a few things that I don't like about the car, and I'll be getting into that. It's not perfect. No car is perfect unless you have a Bugatti. But I really, overall, it's a complete change over the previous Model Y, a complete upgrade in every way. You can't go wrong ordering this. So if you're thinking about getting one of these and you can't decide whether you want the original Generation 1 or the new Generation 2 Model Y, and let's say there's not too much of a price gap, I would just go for this one. You'll be so much happier. I think really the biggest thing in the previous generation Model Y is the wind noise and the suspension, as well as a lot of the bumpiness of the ride and a lot of the swaying of the car. So I think the two main things you would have to do on the first generation Model Y is the suspension and probably some sway bars to just keep the car more stable. This car already from the factory is just so much better. Like I said, it's a luxurious ride compared to the previous car. So I drove in a Model 3 yesterday after driving this car for 2 weeks, first generation Model 3, and it just felt like absolute terror driving that compared to this car. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you some things inside the car and show you what I like and what I don't like. So first thing I want to show is I did some modifications already. I put on this yoke wheel from Hand Show. I absolutely love it. I had a yoke in my previous Model Y. I think it's absolutely, if it's not necessary, it's next to necessary. It just makes the experience so much better. It gives you a better field of view of the front. I'm going to be putting a dash screen here also, so it's just going to make it easier to see the dash screen. I got these white vinyl covers from Test Bros and put it on the buttons, and I think it just gives it such a cool look with the white interior. I also got this white vinyl wrap from Test Bros for the center console. I did the same thing in my previous Model Y, although they were just white plastic covers. I really like the contrast of the white in the middle with the black trim on the outside and the black over there. And I think just adding some more white to the car, it really gives it a nice contrast, like I said, the white and black. So one thing I really like is that there is a USB-C port here, which is great because there's a little gap here for the USB-C cable to kind of sit in. And what I can do with this gap is I can pull the cable and I can kind of retract it back in when I need it. Before, in my previous Model Y, I had the cable, you know, I had the original center console, so I had the cable just kind of on the side here, and it was just always sticking out. It kind of looked ugly. This one I can kind of hide it for the most part. I can even push it all the way in, which is pretty cool, and pull it back out, push it back in. That's great if I need to charge my car quicker than the wireless charger. And that's the other thing. The wireless charger works for iPhone Pro Maxes. This is my 16 Pro Max, and it charges. There you go. Amazing. Why couldn't it do that on the previous model? I think they were designed for some of the smaller phones than the bigger phones that we have now. One thing I noticed is my ambient lighting I don't know if this is just me. I probably have to go back and look at my previous videos too, but it feels like it got a lot dimmer. And the blue is not as deep of a blue as it used to be. Even driving at night, I'll go to the lights here. It's on max brightness, you can see. It just doesn't seem as bright as it used to. This is blue, but it kind of looks like a bit of a purple blue. So that's pretty weird. Another thing I noticed is the ventilated seats are pretty loud. I was driving the car and I had the AC off, but I had the ventilated seat on. And I'm like, what is that fan noise I'm hearing? It sounds like the AC is on. And I go and I listen and I hear the ventilated seats right behind my head. The fan is actually right behind your head is what it sounds like. It's not even deep in the middle of the seat. It just sounds like it's right behind your head, which is pretty annoying. I'm gonna just stay quiet for a second and let's see if you can hear that. So you just have this constant fan noise behind your head if you have the ventilated seats at max. And I do have them at max, so there you go. I do feel like the ventilated seats aren't as cooling as I thought they'd be. I thought they'd be cooler. I've been in some other cars, Lexus for example, that had ventilated seats and it was really, really cold. This one, don't get me wrong, it's cold, it keeps you cool, it stops you from sweating. I just thought it'd keep you cooler, especially in this 80 and 90 degree weather we're having. You can see it's 91 here today. So, next to New York City here, beautiful view. But yeah, 91 degrees, it's hot, and I need to stop sweating. So the ventilated seats are good, but they could be better. So coming to the back here, one interesting thing I noticed is the rear armrest is super wide, very wide for the rear passenger seats here. And the cups are stacked vertically. From what I remember on the previous model, they were stacked side to side. Very weird if you're trying to have two people here and have drinks and they have the same drink. I think this will happen a lot where somebody will forget which one is theirs, and there you go. I like that the sides of the seats here are black and not the white leather, just keeps it cleaner. But yeah, the rear armrest is wide, very wide, and it's actually nice that they did it like this because I'm sitting with my arm on it right now, and the person in the seat next to me can have their arm on it, and the drinks are in the middle here, and our arms are separated. They're never gonna touch. For you weirdos out there that like touching arms. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Another thing I did too, the rear seat covers for my previous Model Y, the seat back covers for my previous Model Y, I got them in here. Took a little bit of finagling on the bottom, but got it in. Cool look. They just need to be cleaned up a little bit, but the white matches, that's all good, and I really love that. And we can see again how the yoke looks there. The yoke is just beautiful, especially with those white vinyl covers. One more thing I can say too is that for people with the parcel shelf, you may notice some noise when you're driving. If you recline the seats back, so you can see I have this one reclined back right now, this one's not. If you recline the seats back with the side button on the side of the rear seats, it'll actually hold the parcel shelf tight so that the parcel shelf does not rattle at all or move. And one gripe I do have with the power folding and unfolding seats is that when you do fold them back up, or when you do unfold them back up, you then need to go to each seat on the side to press these buttons here. And when you press these buttons, then the seat will recline. Before, you used to just be able to grab a button here and recline the seat back while you're still at the trunk section. However, you have to come to each side of the rear seats to be able to do that here. All right, interesting thing I noticed with the rear screen here. So this is your normal view. You can change the airflow, the direction of the airflow, which is nice. If you go here, you can actually fold your seats from this button, and you can also recline the seats too. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and when I press the button, you'll see the seat recline. I can push it forward slightly and I can recline it fully. Now it's fully reclined. And also, yeah, you see we have the fold option. You can move the front passenger seat forward and back. I was actually checking if this is possible because I'm installing this rear plastic cover from my previous Model Y on here, and I needed to access the side here to get the rest of this in. And I was like, let me just check the screen, and it does have the ability to move the passenger seat from the rear, which I think is also pretty cool. So I put on my Spigen Performance pedal covers from my previous Model Y. They fit onto here perfectly, which I think just gives it a nice sportier look. Again, I want to mention about the premium interior. The quality of the interior is just so much more amazing. Again, you have the double stitching, like I said in my previous video. Double stitching here, everywhere, the fabric material. I wish they did Alcantara on the white color. I might have to change that. I really like Alcantara. This is the Alcantara material here. They left it on the wireless charger, but nowhere else. They put in this light gray fabric on the white interior version of the car instead of putting the dark Alcantara. So I wish they just kept the dark Alcantara anyway, because that would kind of give it a nice contrast. This does look good, but I personally like Alcantara better. So another thing is, while driving, we just really don't have any rattles or squeaks in the car at all. Before, if I would put my arm here, I would have a lot of squeaks. It would be, you know, squeaking back and forth. You know, when you see those videos of the new Mercedes now and they compare them to the old Mercedes and they're pressing everything, anything they push squeaks. This car, there's no squeaks. So better build quality than a Mercedes. How about that? Another interesting thing here. If you go to your audio settings, this is how it should look, right? Everything's in the center. 0, 0, 0, 0 added decibels. You know, nothing's changed. When I got my car, everything was maxed out. They're basically boosting every frequency of the audio range. Now, I'm a huge audio person. This is bad. This is very bad. This will blow your amplifier in no time, basically, especially if you turn the volume up. So please, when you get your car, check it. Make sure that your audio your audio frequencies here are at 0 decibels. I'm just going to go ahead and hit reset. Just make sure of that, and then you can adjust it however you like. The car audio is so great already that you don't even need to touch any of this. You really don't. You can adjust it slightly to your preferences. The previous car, I had to adjust it, and I eventually ended up putting in Alpine speakers. And I replaced most of the speakers with the Alpine speakers. There was a kit I got on the HEPA King website. I did that and it sounded great. However, I still have them. I took them out of the previous car. I'm still going to put them in here. Why? Because I'm really big into audio. I've had audio setups for a long time, mostly headphone audio, but every car I've had, I've changed the speakers. So for 99.999% of people, you probably won't need to change the speakers out. It's so good. I assume, you know, let's say if 1 million people buy the Model Y, maybe 1,000 of them will change the speakers. It's going to be such a small percentage of people, just people who are really into audio and want to spend the money to waste on audio. The car itself is so good, but I'm going to do a video where I change out the speakers. I want to see if they fit, first of all, if they change the speaker dimensions or not. I just want to know if they put in paper speakers again, because the previous Model Y, they put in paper speakers and it didn't sound that good. It was better than most cars, but it could have sounded better. The resolution of the audio was not good. But on top of how good the speakers are, I want to say, I think they are paper speakers. I hear some slight things that I don't like to hear from the audio, which is making me want to put the Alpines into this one too. I think they're using a much higher powered amplifier for this car. The reason I say that is this is the max I've ever had to put the audio at. This is not my music. I don't know why this is on here. It just was playing songs. This is the loudest. This is the loudest I've gone, and this is probably the loudest comfortable volume, especially if you have other people in the car. The car is just so much louder, much louder And I've never had to max out the volume yet. On the previous car, I'd have to max out the volume, even with the better speakers, just to hear the music at a good enough volume sometimes. So there's that. The turn signal, what are we gonna do with you? You had it good the first time, and now you just have one click. Okay. What's this about? And when you push it up, it just cancels it. Then you have to push it up again to go right. What's with that, Tesla? You had it perfect the first time. It was 2 clicks if you wanted the turn signal to stay on. If you put the 1 click, it would just blink 3 times and it shut off on its own. And when you pushed it up, it would actually go right. There was like a little half step to cancel, and then if you pushed it up fully, it would go right. But now if I push it down fully, it just cancels it. There needs to be 2 clicks on each side for it to work. 2 clicks down, 2 clicks up. That's what it had before. That's what it should have had. If they don't want to do that, they should just put turn signal buttons like they did with the Model 3. I would much rather prefer the gear shifter than the turn signal stock. I'd much rather have the turn signal buttons here, because to me that just seems simpler. I test drove a Model S that had turn signal buttons. I loved it. I don't know why people don't love it. The gear stock sucks. I'm saying gear stock, I mean this thing. This thing sucks. It really sucks. Yeah, I'm trying to put it in park. I forget that you have to tap it. And although if you unclick your seatbelt, it puts you in park. Or if you open the door, it puts you in park. So with this, I have the auto shift beta enabled, right? Normally, I get into the car, I put my foot on the brake, I put it in drive, and then I go. And as I'm going, because I'm usually in a parking lot or my parking garage when I'm getting out, you know, driving in the car, when I first get into it, I then put my seatbelt on while the car is just rolling. To me, it's a much more efficient way of doing things. I like to do things quick and efficiently. I don't like to waste time with extra buttons and stuff like that. For auto shift beta to work, your seatbelt must be on. So now, if I don't want to use the screen, which I hate using, I'm just going to put in, there's a delay there with the park. If I don't want to use the screen, which I hate using, I love auto shift, but I need to put my seatbelt on to park, to use auto shift. So I have to get in the car, step on the brake, put on my seatbelt, which, you know what, I'll do it now just to demonstrate. So I got in the car, I'm stepping on the brake, putting on my seatbelt. All right, why isn't it going? Oh, now I have to step on the brake again. Then I can go. What's with that? If I stepped on the brake already, it should just let me go. It should put it in drive. So I'm going to take my seatbelt off. When you get in the car, or at least when I get in the car, I step on the brake already. So now I have to mentally think about, get in the car and don't step on the brake. Get in the car, put my seatbelt on first, then step on the brake, then it's going to put me into drive. So I have to change up my whole way of doing things that I've done my whole life, my whole driving life. So there's that. The auto shift beta could work better. And another thing about the auto shift beta is that when you're driving in a parking lot, or for my instance, the parking garage where I'm parking in, if I like to back in the car, if I go to back it in, and because I'm perpendicular to the parking spots and not parallel, you know, I'm not vertical like I'm going in it, I'm still sideways to then back in. Because of that, the car doesn't recognize that I want to shift into reverse. So I'll turn the wheel, it doesn't realize it because it's waiting for me to park forward, I guess. So if you're parking in reverse, it doesn't seem to recognize that. But again, it's in beta, so it does say here auto shift beta. So it is in beta. I'm assuming they're going to fix that eventually to recognize when you're trying to back into a parking spot. Another thing, the space in the center console is nice. I really like all the space here. I usually carry a gallon of water with me in the car. Obviously, I'm into fitness and nutrition and all that, so I have my gallon of water for the day or for half the day until I need to fill it up again. And it just fits perfectly in here, and there's still so much more room for some other things, which is great. So that's good. Cup holders are nice. I added in these cup holder inserts from Test Bros. It just holds in some smaller things better. And if something is bigger that would only fit in the normal slot, it just pushes these little bumps here and it fits the cup in nice and snug. So I really like that as well. So the full self-driving is absolutely amazing. I love the fact that you can start it from park. However, I have a column in the parking spot, basically in the middle of two parking spots, the one where I am and the one next to me. So I'm afraid to try it out because I don't want it to hit the column as it exits the parking spot. If it was just an open parking spot, I wouldn't mind. But it's so fast, it doesn't even think. When I say it doesn't think, it doesn't hesitate to think. The full self-driving, it's watching everything I'm already watching. So I'm already watching stuff for it when I'm changing lanes, when I'm doing certain things on the car. If I want to pass somebody, I always have it in hurry mode. And the second somebody on the left is about halfway in front of the car here, it already has a signal on and it's going. It's doing its thing. It makes lane changes so fast. It makes decisions so fast. So with hardware 4 and the AMD chip, it's way, way, way improved compared to my 2020 Model Y with hardware 3 and the Intel CPU. So FSD, I trust it so much more. I really love it. The Actually Smart Summon is great. I tried it out once at the gym, picked me up from the front door, which is cool. I definitely want to try having it park itself. I'm curious to see how that works. What is this? Customized summon. Okay, there's some extra, you can add some extra bumper clearance there, which is cool. So yeah, I really like the FSD. I trust it way, way, way more than the previous Model Y. Final thing I'll say about the car is I really love the rear light bar tail light. It looks so cool. At night when you can't really see the rest of the car or the color, it looks like a 911, Porsche 911. I've always loved the 911, that's my favorite car. So it's cool that I have a SUV that has a 911 taillight almost, but it's actually a much brighter taillight and looks so cool. Obviously it's not a direct taillight, it's the reflecting taillight. This car is amazing. Again, I really love it. 100% worth it. I mean, my previous car was totaled, so I didn't have a choice. I was upgrading to this anyway, but I did have the option to get whatever other SUV I wanted in the price range. So I decided to get a second Tesla, and I do not regret it. I love it. All the features, again, after 1 week of driving, 294 miles, so basically 300 miles, all the features are so worth it. You're getting a better car at a cheaper price than when I bought my Model Y in early 2023. I bought it basically beginning of April for $49,000 used, and they were about $60,000 new. So you can't beat that. This was what, $44,000 new. So I got it cheaper than my previous car. My monthly payment is about $350 less. And I have a much better upgraded car, a new car, a whole new warranty, 4-year total car warranty, 8-year battery and motor warranty. So I cannot complain. Again, I'm leasing this for 3 years. I'm probably going to buy it out at the end. I'm doing all these mods anyway, so if anything, I'll just transfer it over to the next car. If I decide in 3 years, you know, let's see how the new Model Y Performance will look like, the Juniper Model Y Performance. We still haven't heard anything about that. Maybe in 3 years I want the Performance, but right now I have the rear-wheel drive. So the rear-wheel drive, this is the rear-wheel drive, right? It does not feel like a rear-wheel drive. In terms of the performance, they dropped the 0 to 60 by 0.9 seconds from the previous Model Y rear-wheel drive. It's a huge upgrade. From on highway speeds, it feels just as fast accelerating. It accelerates just as fast as my Model Y all-wheel drive with the acceleration boost accelerated at highway speeds. And obviously we know that at highway speeds, electric cars aren't as good, especially the faster you go, unless you have a Model S Plaid. So the only time you really notice the slower acceleration is when you're accelerating 0 to 60. It's a little bit slower. The 0 to 30 is great. The 30 to 60 is not as good as my Model Y all-wheel drive with acceleration boost. But compared to a normal Model Y all-wheel drive, it's pretty close. It's only a 0.8 second difference, I believe, for from the rear wheel drive to the all wheel drive. If you have the acceleration boost, obviously you're going to have much faster acceleration from 0 to 60. If you care about that, then great. I find that I'm driving this car so much more efficiently because I'm not worried about the acceleration anymore, or I don't care about the acceleration anymore. The car is just so great. I'm just enjoying driving it normally, and I'm getting so much more range. So I did a drive yesterday to my parents' house that normally would take me 27% of battery to go 60 miles. In this car, while carrying all my tools, I was doing a suspension replacement on a Model 3. So I was upgrading the Model 3 to the Model 3 Highland suspension. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos of me doing suspension replacements, please sure to check that out. I was doing a replacement, so I had my my hydraulic jack, I had another jack stand, I had my whole toolbox, and some other things in the car as well. So I had probably another 100 pounds in the car with me, on top of me myself, at 230, bulking right now. And this car, in the same trip that I normally would use 27% battery, this car only used 16% battery to go 61 miles. So if you do the math, that's a lot of miles there. It was basically all highway except for 5 miles of about 35 to 45 miles an hour. So let's say 56 miles of that trip were highway. The other 5 miles were a little bit faster town speeds. And this car, which was another reason I got the rear wheel drive, is that I wanted the extra range. I was suffering with the previous model. I'd always have to find somewhere to charge if I was going somewhere for the day. This, I want to be able to take a full day trip, charge it to 100 if I need to, and come back home with 5%. If I can do that in one day and I'm going out the whole day, I'll be so happy. And so far, I think that's a definite possibility. So I'm very happy with the choice of the rear wheel drive, and I'm not complaining. I'm actually enjoying it. It's actually keeping me safer because I'm not accelerating on the highway like I normally would. Before, I was taking some pretty risky passes with the all-wheel drive with the acceleration boost. You know, people just camp in the left lane in New Jersey. A lot of Pennsylvania people, you know, the usual. So I would try to, I would pass people a lot. And because of the acceleration, I was passing more than I should. I drive this car so much more chill now than I used to drive my previous car. So in essence, it's keeping me safer, and I love it. All in all, 1 week ownership. I love this car. The Model Y Juniper 2026 rear wheel drive is the car to get. You'll save money versus the all-wheel drive. You get 30 extra miles of range. Get the 19-inch wheels. You get even more comfort. The suspension's amazing. The features are great. All the power features, the rear seats, the rear screen. You can do a lot from the rear screen. It's great. So thanks for watching, guys. I still have a lot more modifications to do. You're going to see a lot of videos of me doing modifications. Some companies are sending me some great things. So I have a dash screen coming. I have an ambient light system coming for this section here. It's going to go under this fabric piece, and it's going to have the blind spot monitoring. So the blind spot monitoring is great. I love that feature, but this will have the blind spot monitoring much bigger. So it'll take up this portion of the LED strip on each side, will let me know if there's a car next to me. So this one is already bright, the little dot, the red dot that comes here, but I'm pretty looking forward to that. I did the spoiler already, the yoke, some vinyl covers. Next is the dash. I will be doing a soft close frunk, and then eventually I'll be doing a powered frunk, so open and close. I'd really like to do a camera mirror. I've always wanted one in pretty much every car I've had. I might do it in this. When I got the car tinted, when I got my previous Model Y tinted, the back window was pretty much impossible to see out of at night. I could really only see the shape of headlights. That's all I could see on the car behind me. So that'd be pretty interesting, especially I might be getting tints on this car, at least on the windshield and front windows, just to help a little bit more with the heat. The roof up here, I don't feel heat in the car like I used to. So this reflects 7 times more heat than the previous Model Y. Definitely does. I totally feel it. However, for, I think, protection of the interior, I want to get at least the front windows tinted and just have that extra heat rejection in the car. So all in all, thumbs up. Model Y Juniper. Tesla did an amazing job. Stay tuned. Check out my next videos. And hope you guys, if you're thinking about it, go forward with it. September 30th, tax credit ends. Use my referral code. You won't regret it. This car is amazing. It's not even in the same league as the previous Model Y and previous Model 3. And if you're thinking between Model 3 and Model Y, just get the Y. You get the extra space. You get all the features. The frunk is amazing. It's even bigger than the previous frunk, so I could fit a lot in there. You can fit a full-size carry-on in the frunk now, I believe, or at least a smaller carry-on. Stay tuned. Next video. Use my referral code. If you're thinking about it, it helps me out. I can pay for full self-driving for some more months and show you guys. Helps out the channel. Helps me make out more content. I have all my discount and affiliate codes down below in the description and the comments. If you guys are looking for any Tesla accessories, you can use any of the discount codes below on any of the accessory websites and get yourself a nice discount. This also helps me out as well. I get a small kickback and helps me put more into the channel. So I hope you guys are enjoying the improved video quality from the new camera and microphone, and stay tuned. Thumbs up. Up or back? Up.